Hi there. So here is a quick update on the 9 Twitter polls which I have ongoing after a couple of days and which will continue to be online for you to put your vote for yet another few days. Brexit, about same for those 50 who have given a view. On the US elections, an advantage for Clinton. On the US trade agreement, few people think that it actually will be signed and ratified, but not so many have voted yet. On whom to blame? Well, EU structures and EU member states about equal. Next European crisis, most people worried about Brexit, few about external security. Little visibility of the global strategy so far. Question is, will it increase popular support or will it be of internal importance primarily? What does the Orlando shooting mean for human security? Mainly worries that it will increase problems rather than decrease in terms of attention. NATO summit, most people believe no major impact as of yet. And here you see how few people actually read books and longer articles. So it's important with the frame of reference. distribution of thoughts on the outcome, whether Trump will win or whether Clinton will win, is, as you see, rather well distributed, with an advantage for Clinton and about the same number of polls of votes. If we take then the third issue on the trade agreement, less attention to this so far, less people have put out their forecast. Many think that it will not be signed at all, then possibly signed by Obama, then or not delayed for Clinton, and a very small percentage so far think that it will be signed and ratified. It would be interesting to hear more views on that. On the issue of whom to blame when it comes to a lack of effectiveness in EU security work, including preventing crisis, many people, of course, blame the EU structures. Some blame the EU member states. Some look more widely, as you can see. Again, here I would like to hear more views. The issue of the next European crisis. Most people obviously see Brexit as a looming crisis. Otherwise, it's interesting to see that we're either talking about unwanted flows like irregular migration or internal security problems, which probably connotes terrorism. And very few people for the moment, among those who have put their votes, look at external security, which is interesting given the situation in Ukraine, Syria and so forth. Still rather few people have put their view on record here, and it would be interesting to hear more. If we look at the global strategy, it's so far not much in focus of the attention of my readership, at least. Only a few people have put their votes. It's soon going to be adopted. It has, as one can imagine, a low visibility at this point. Some people have put it into their syndicated Twitter, and I will see what that will mean. Whether it will have mainly popular support, whether it will motivate staff mainly, or whether it will stay of marginal importance. The Orlando shootings, again, is not a big issue for many people, but some think that actually the result of the shooting will not increase attention to human security in a positive way. And finally, on the NATO summit, and then on the NATO summit, most people seem to believe so far that it will have a limited impact on Western-Russian relations. And then as a final point, I found it interesting to see that among those who have responded, most are actually not reading books or longer articles, which show the importance of websites and Twitter accounts such as the one I'm trying to promote. In order to have people update their views, it's clearly important to provide not just ad hoc information, but put into some sort of frame of reference. Thank you for watching this. So as you see, there are 9 polls out, one about Brexit. So there are 9 polls out, one about Brexit, one about the US, one about trade, one about effectiveness in EU crisis prevention, one about the next European crisis, one about the Orlando shootings, one about the global strategy, then one about the NATO summit, and finally about how people get their information. Brexit, about same for those 50 who have given a view. On the US elections, an advantage for Clinton. On the US trade agreement, few people think that it actually will be signed and ratified, but not so many have voted yet. On whom to blame? Well, EU structures and EU member states about equal. Next European crisis, most people worried about Brexit, few about external security. Little visibility of the global strategy so far. Question is, will it increase popular support or will it be of internal importance primarily? What does the Orlando shooting mean for human security? Mainly worries that it will increase problems rather than decrease in terms of attention. NATO summit. Most people believe no major impact as of yet. And here you see how few people actually read books and longer articles. So it's important with the frame of reference.